This week's parsha is parshas breisheis. In parshas breisheis, we have in the very first pasuk, the first verse says, "Breisheis bara Elokim es hashamayim es haaretz." In the beginning, Hashem created the heavens and the earth. The word in Hebrew used to say Hashem is Elokim. Now, of course, there's many different names of Hashem, Elokim, the Yud, Hey, and the Vav, Hey, and other ones. Specifically, Elokim, the one used in this verse, is actually used throughout the 6 days of creation. The whole first aliyah of breisheis, which is talking about the creation of the world, only uses this name of Hashem, Elokim. So what does this name of Hashem connote? What specifically does it direct us to? So first we have to look at the actual word, Elokim. Normally, when you have the suffix of Yud Mem, as it is in the word Elokim, it means plural. As in Yeled, which means singular child, as opposed to Yiladim, which means children, plural. And the Yud Mem is what changes the word from singular to plural. So over here we have Elokim, or Elo and Him, said properly. So why is this name of Hashem? Obviously Hashem is one. That's the basic principle in Judaism. So why does it have a Yud Mem at the end, which seems to point us to a plural? God forbid. So the commentators explain that Elokim is the manifestation of Hashem, which is when we see a duality of powers, something which normally we would associate with two separate entities, but two powers, two characteristics which seem to contradict each other, but they come from the same source. And this is what it means, Elokim, when Hashem shows one characteristic and seemingly a totally opposite characteristic. And that is the name with which Hashem created the world. That is the characteristic which was exhibited by Hashem in this world when He created the world. Let me explain. The names of Hashem are the way we view Hashem at that point. Of course, there's no different, He doesn't get into different moods, Hashem. But when Hashem does certain actions, the way our reflection of the way Hashem is performing, the way He is acting, is a certain way. And that is the name that will be in the pasuk, in the verse. So over here it's Elokim. Hashem, who creates contradictory, sometimes He'll do things that seem to be a contradiction. He'll show benevolence, but at the same time be very harsh. But in our eyes, that's the way it would seem. In other faiths, they believe that you can't have bad come from the same source as good. We don't believe that. We believe that good and bad comes from the same source. And that is exactly what Elokim means. Elokim is that plural characteristics. That Hashem is the source of good and the source of bad. Like the Gemara says, just like we bless Hashem on the good, we also bless Hashem on the bad, on what we view as bad, which of course is good. Whatever Hashem does is for the good. So now with this specific name, Hashem created the world. Why? Why Elokim? Why is Elokim the name which is used throughout the 6 days of creation? So there are many answers, obviously, but one of the possible answers is that Hashem wanted to start off the Torah with emes, with the truth, with the absolute truth. The verse says, Roish devarcha emes. The beginning of your word, meaning the beginning of the Torah, was truth, only truth. And the truth is that everything comes from Hashem. Every last thing comes from Hashem, whether good or bad. So Hashem didn't want to use a name which talks about compassion, a name which talks about mercy, a name which talks about feeling the pain of His people. Hashem wanted to talk about the name which includes all the names. That Hashem is everything. Hashem was the source of all things that come to us, no matter how we view them, no matter how it seems to us. And that's why Hashem, throughout the 6 days of creation, uses the name Elokim, the plural, which is the seemingly plural name of Hashem, to show us that everything comes from Hashem, a basic principle in Judaism. Just a question on this week's parsha. You'll notice that the first verse, which we quoted before, in the beginning, Hashem created the heavens and the earth, sounds like Hashem created the heavens and the earth on the first day, and they were the first things created. Now, there's a problem with that. The next verse says, or a phrase in the next verse says, "V'ruach Elokim merachefes al pnei hamayim," that the Spirit of God was hovering above the water, above the waters of the waters. So, if Hashem created the heavens and the earth first, how could why does it refer to water that wasn't created yet? So it seems to be obvious that the heavens and the earth weren't created first. So that's the question. It says, in the beginning, Hashem created the heavens and the earth, and then it seems to say that the water was first. The water just somehow appeared. There are many answers to this. If you look actually at the ArtScroll translation carefully, you'll find an answer. Also, the Ramban has a extremely interesting answer if you have a chance to look at it. The Shul actually has an English translation. Have a great Shabbos.